Dr. Kayode, in the past 10 months or thereabouts, Anambra State and other southeastern states have been on the front burner for all the bad reasons, including violence, killings, destructions,
arson,
and what have you. What do you make of this?
Yeah, you see, all these things wouldn't have been if only the government had followed the path that I sort of came up with in my Independence Day speech to the nation, and of which you can still listen to it. It's on the YouTube. All they need to do is just to Google the name Dr. Dayo Kayode on YouTube. Anybody can listen to it to see the solution I provide to this. No doubt about it, the proscribed IPOB, they have their reasons for agitation. No doubt about it. They have their reason for agitation. And before now, they have been going about it peacefully. Before now, to the best of my own knowledge. But along the line, the government miscued. And I repeat, along the line, the government miscued. It's just like this. Let's look at this analogy. Look at this hand. When you have a whitlow on this small hand, on this small finger, the whitlow will not even be felt here mostly. Yeah. You will feel it mostly here.
Your head, yeah.
You will feel it mostly here. And the moment you are feeling it here, it will give the height of discomfort to the whole of your body. Then what are you supposed to do to that small part? It's not the whole small finger, it's the small part of the smallest finger. You are supposed to treat it accordingly, because if you ignore it, it will cause more damage, even to the brain. And that is exactly what we are seeing now. If initially successive government, because it didn't start from IPOB, it didn't start from, I think, MASOP.
Yeah.
Let's even go to MASOP. Wazirike,
Raf
Wazirike and co. Down to another one, down to this. If only the federal government of Nigeria has constituted, had listened at that point in time, it wouldn't have led to this. And you can even see what it. Somebody was starting to me when I was in your room. Was starting with me when I was in your waiting room there. That sir, I sent one Facebook this thing to you. He said I should please go and check it. I said okay, let me just satisfy this man. I went there, the same old story. And I told you, I said I don't listen to such people staying abroad and then trying to popularize themselves with some junk information. As regards, yes, Nigeria should divide now. The only alternative is for Nigeria to divide. But then, if they are saying so, why are they saying so? Federal government need to address it. Marginalization, that is what they have been using. Now, let us define it. Are they really marginalized? If they are being marginalized, then bring out some issues that will suit that they are thinking. In Ekiti, there is one proverb. That is this bean cake. This bean cake. What quantity are you going to give a small child that will now stop watching your nose while you are eating? When you are eating bean cake, you will do like this. Your nose will be moving and all that because of the small particles of it. So what is the quantity you are going to give a small boy that you get that boy busy with it, and then you will now stop looking at your nose. Because when you don't give that small boy something to get busy with that akara, he'll be looking at you like this. You keep looking. So why don't you give all these people that are shouting marginalization something that will suit them, and then make them to belong to that federating unit?
Right, Dr. Dayo.
I mean, to that federating whole.
Dr. Dayo, now what do you make of the fact that the IPOB is trying to use the seats, the fact that the IPOB is trying to use the sit at home order to pressurize the government to releasing the leader of this proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from detention, being the fact that he's been charged with some treasonable offenses?
Yeah, you know, I said, if you listen to my opening reaction to this, I was very careful in my choice of words. I said before now, their agitation, their demands, they've been going about it peacefully. But along the line, just like it happened during NSAS, whereby some hoodlums hijacked it, they also allowed some miscreants, who one way or the other has missed it politically when it comes to political leadership calculation, which they have missed it. They allow such people to infiltrate into their activities. I don't know whether to infiltrate into their, like, look at like Sunday Igboho. What Sunday Igboho was doing before, I was in support, trying to stop the marauders from disturbing Yoruba community. But along the line, he allowed the successes to overweigh him by allowing those shouting for Yoruba nation to infiltrate into his activities. Do you understand? So also, what has happened to these people? And to that extent, they went berserk to the extent that they were now disturbing the peace and security of the Southeast. And unfortunately again, the government of that region too were not building a kind of trust with the people. Because of the humongous amount of money that was coming to their states, people were not seeing it being translated into development and dividends of democracy. So to that extent, people now decide to also, okay, we too can also join these people to fight the government because they are not doing what they are supposed to do. So if only one federal government, and listen before now, I know which is never too late to start. If secondly, the government of that Southeast too had been delivering dividend of democracy to the people accordingly, I mean, all this would have been happening. Now, back to release of Nnamdi Kanu. I think it is a political issue. It is a political issue. And government should also be ready to sort this thing out politically. Yes, it is a political issue, that you like it or not.
So that is it going to affect the election? Because now they have already won that nobody should try. And these people may go back to arm themselves more to come to disrupt, since the government is saying they shouldn't try. The issue is
as is. Because government had lost the trust of the people. It might likely affect it. You know why? Not that people won't want to come out to vote, but people will be scared because they know that they won't be protected. They know that there is no insurance for them. It's just like during the NSAS anniversary. Not that I didn't want to come out, but because I know government cannot provide adequate security for me. So instead of me to risk my life to go out, I start to stay indoors. To be calling people, oh, how is this area? Oh, how is this area? Oh, how is that area? Are you with me?
Yeah, there's something I want to point out here. Sit-at-home orders by IPOB previously had witnessed total compliance.
Yes.
Even when there was no order.
Yeah. Even when they called it off.
Yes.
They still believe that there was an order.
So do we expect such a thing? I want you, as you're going to answer this question, I want you to also think about the fact that the presidency has issued marching orders to both the military and the police to ensure that November 6th election holds in Anambra. Now, what do we expect? Knowing very well that the previous sit-at-home orders were complied with by the people.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pity that the president himself, before now, have been issuing statements that are highly vacuous. Highly vacuous. Giving statements that he has never supported with might, with presidential might. Okay? Now, if you are now saying you have order, yeah, I read it. DIG, what's his name again? Was to lead the team. Then some other AIGs, about 40 commissioners of police.
100 commanders.
40 commissioners of police, 414 or whatever commanders, assistant commissioner of police and all that moving to that place. I even thought I didn't see the names. I was thinking I will see some of my friends' names there. I will have called Ogbeni. Be careful there. You understand? What I'm saying is this. One, people don't have that confidence in the statements of the president because of what has happened in the past. Two, people will be afraid of their lives. And then three, those security men that have been sent to Anambra, will they be going to people's houses to drag them out to come and vote? They can't enter people's houses to drag them to come and vote. It's a pity that what ought to have been done before now were left undone, which sometimes I tagged idiocy of governance. If those things have been addressed before now, by now nobody will be talking about this. And that's why I always say it is better for us to always be putting in place a proactive government than a reactionary government.
But if those things have been addressed before now, we agree that all of these issues wouldn't come up. But now it has happened. So the way forward is what we are looking at. So what is the way forward? Because the people of Anambra may not want their election disrupted. And also
Who are those people?
That's why I'm asking you, Dr. Dayo.
Sometimes, they always say, there is a proverb that says, it's never too late to start. But then, there's another counter proverb that says, it is too late to cry when the head is off. Do you understand? Those are counter proverbs. In insurgency, that's what we call insurgency, counter-insurgency. And that is what we are seeing now. Perhaps government, not only this government and successive governments will be learning from what is going to happen in Anambra. I wonder if that Anambra election will be what is supposed to be.
So, but I asked that to say this.
Because the government presently now will not want to release. I was pondering. When I even had a dream of it, I couldn't even remember. Because I was pondering over this overnight. The people in Anambra are saying, you have to release our leader.
Who are these people, Dr. Dayo? These are the members, leaders of IPOB. The average Anambra man wouldn't want to sit at home for a very long time.
I don't like when proscribed IPOB is saying, sit at home. Because I said it on this platform. Where their right stops is where others starts from. You can't say you want to be fighting for the people, and then you are killing these people, you are maiming them by saying they shouldn't go about their normal economic, political, social, and cultural activities. Okay? But in this situation, you need your life. Assuming your dear person, your close to your heart person is in that Anambra, will you ask that person to go out and vote? When IPOB is saying sit at home, even though he's not a member of IPOB, even though he's a bona fide member of Anambra who wants to exercise his franchise, will you ask that person to go out? Because you never can predict. Here is a government that you don't trust. Here is a government that cannot provide security and safety
now
for lives and properties.
Dr. Kayode, IPOB has
Proscribed
repeatedly
IPOB.
Noted.
has repeatedly refuted this allegation that it is planning to issue a sit-at-home order come November 6th. And it went ahead. Yes, and it went ahead to say that it is not interested in politics and has not issued any official statements. It went further to say that anybody who says that is not a member of IPOB. Is this an indication that IPOB is factionalized?
Yeah. You see, that is another area you are coming up with now. Proscribed IPOB as is, along the line, when they issued sit at home the other time, some other people came up and said, no, there's nothing like sit at home. Yeah. Okay? So people decide to go about their businesses. We all knew what happened to them. Abi, they are in the news. Now, will you also want to look at it from this point of view that, as is, government too might want to infiltrate IPOB, the proscribed IPOB, whereby they will pick up some people to be issuing some dissenting news all around.
Just like, we have seen what happened during the NSAS.
That's also what happened during NLC election.
Yeah, okay.
Even during NLC.
All right.
NLC election. NUJ. It happened with even NUJ. Of recent. I followed most of these things. Even the one that some people did in I think is it Kaduna or Meduguri about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Do you understand? We have been seeing situations like that whereby government will come up with some people to infiltrate. So the Anambra people we are talking about, a normal Anambra people you are talking about that wants to exercise their franchise will be afraid. They will be afraid, not because there are factions within the organization, but because they know that government before now, one, cannot be trusted. Two, has not been providing enough security for safety of lives and properties. You understand? So it's not that a number of person wouldn't want to come out and vote, but
someone once said that on this platform that the language this government seems to understand is a language of repression, forceful. Do you think that if probably there's a dialogue or a conversation, so as it is, like, what do you want, what do I want, or maybe a softer approach to things like this, most of these things would be.
And that's exactly what I've been saying.
That's exactly what I've been saying. The family of Kanu also came up with that advice, like the government should go the dialogue, use the dialogue.
You see, the issue is, let's look at it from this perspective. After the Civil War, what happened? They sat down to discuss. After the Civil War that we all experienced, they sat down. You didn't. Oh, okay. But at least you read about it.
I wasn't born.
I was.
You were in the army.
No, I was already reading newspaper at that time. I always follow my father to go and buy newspaper. We put me inside his. He was using the Peugeot 404 then. Put me inside in front. We go and buy paper.
A big car.
Nah.
Then
he said, I see Ojukwu escaped. Do you understand? The day we read in sketch, Ojukwu escaped. I say, that is so the Civil War has ended. Because if the leader can escape, then. But at the end of the day, they still sat down to discuss. So, and that's why somebody like me, I always look at it from this point. Even though J.F. Kennedy said, those who make peaceful change impossible will make violent change inevitable. So also, Mahatma Gandhi said, it is always better to jojo than to war. Because when you war, you still come back to jojo. But unfortunately, while you are warring, you would have destroyed a lot of things
the damage
that will be highly difficult to reconstruct.
Yeah.
So it is always better to jojo than to war. And who is supposed to dictate that? The person having the upper hand. The person having the upper hand. Because you should be able to see more than the person below you. 1, 2. You are the one that is having that shop with glasswares, of which suddenly you find a bull. Not a cow now, a bull inside. So what do? Do you want to pursue the bull, or to arrest the bull diplomatically so that it doesn't destroy your glasswares, precious wares, your highly destructible wares? So federal government, between you and me, still need to sit down and solve this political problem in a political way.
Now, very, very briefly, for want of time, should they claim by IPOB that these killings and destructions going on in Anambra State are politically motivated, taken seriously? Very, very briefly, please.
You see, just like it's difficult to lay the mayhem that we experienced during NSAS on the hidden leadership, of that NSAS, but also without that demonstration, those that hijacked that demonstration wouldn't have been able to do that. I don't know whether you understand. So if IPOB 2 had been also more diplomatic and sensible to their environment in carrying out their agitation, I mean, there's no way all these killings will have happened, even though I'm not laying it on the table of IPOB. But I mean, it is reasonable, it is sensible to say that if there hadn't been a proclamation as regards sit at home by them, then nobody will have come around to hijack that situation.
Thank you so very much,
Dr. Dayo.
Doctor.
It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Pleasure being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me always.
You're welcome.